What's the scariest thing you've ever seen? For most of us, it's probably a scene from a horror movie. But for the people in these next clips, the horror was all too real. And it was caught on camera. From idyllic beach days to joyous celebrations, these ordinary moments turned into unimaginable nightmares in a split second. These are stories of fun that turned fatal, and they serve as a chilling reminder that life can change in the blink of an eye. So, let's take a look at these shocking moments, and be warned, some of this footage is difficult to watch. In June of 2023, the resort town of Hurghada, Egypt, was a paradise for sunseekers. Crystal clear water, warm sand, it was the perfect vacation spot. But this idyllic scene was shattered by a sudden and brutal shark attack. Panic erupted on the beach as onlookers watched in horror. In the water, a 23-year-old tourist named Vladimir Popov was desperately trying to swim to shore, but a tiger shark was relentlessly pursuing him. The scene was pure chaos. People were screaming from the beach and from nearby boats, completely helpless. The shark struck multiple times, its attacks growing more aggressive. Vladimir cried out for his father, who was watching from the shore. Unable to do anything, the final, terrifying moments saw the shark pull him beneath the waves. A rescue boat arrived within seconds, but it was already too late. All they could do was retrieve his remains later. The incident sent shockwaves around the world. A horrifying reminder of the raw power of nature. Experts believe the shark may have been drawn to the area by fishing boats illegally dumping waste. A tragic and avoidable catalyst for this deadly encounter. Let's travel back a few years to July 2017 in Phuket, Thailand. It was a beautiful day, perfect for some holiday adventure. 71-year-old Australian businessman Roger John Hussey and his wife were enjoying their trip. Roger, wanting to try something exciting, decided to go parasailing. His wife, standing on the beach, pulled out her camera to film what should have been a thrilling memory. The footage starts with Roger getting strapped into the harness, smiling and giving a thumbs up. He and the instructor are pulled into the air by the speedboat, but just seconds after takeoff, something went horribly wrong. As they ascended, the instructor, who was harnessed above Roger, seemed to be struggling with the equipment. It appeared he was trying to re-secure a clip or strap. Then, the unthinkable happened. Roger slipped from his harness and plummeted about 30 meters, crashing into the sea below. Beachgoers rushed to pull him from the water, but he had suffered critical injuries from the impact and was struggling to breathe. Despite their efforts, he passed away shortly after. The festive atmosphere of the beach turned to one of shock and grief. Thai police later arrested the boat operator and the parasailing instructor for recklessness, causing death. Highlighting catastrophic failures in safety procedures, what was supposed to be the highlight of a vacation became a family's worst nightmare, all captured on film. Now, not every story ends in tragedy. Sometimes, sheer luck and quick thinking can avert disaster. Let's look at the incredible story of Nariti Malkomjan, a composer from the Netherlands with a passion for flying. She was undergoing aerobatic flight training, pushing the limits in a high-performance aircraft. During one of her maneuvers, something terrifying happened. The plane's canopy, the clear bubbles surrounding the cockpit, suddenly flew open mid-flight. Instantly, a ferocious blast of wind, traveling at hundreds of kilometers per hour, slammed into her face. The force was so intense it temporarily blinded her. Disoriented and unable to see, she was flying an acrobatic plane that was now dangerously unstable. Most people would panic, but Nariti fought to stay calm. Relying on her training and instincts, she struggled to regain control of the aircraft. For what must have felt like an eternity, she wrestled with the controls, flying completely blind. After a terrifying minute, she managed to get the plane back on a stable path and perform an emergency landing. Miraculously, she landed safely. Her eyesight returned a few hours later. It was a hair-raising ordeal, a testament to her skill and composure under extreme pressure. She survived what could have easily been a fatal accident, all thanks to her training and a little bit of luck. Our final story takes us to Mexico in 2023, to what should have been a moment of pure joy, a gender reveal party. The excited parents-to-be stood with their family and friends, waiting for the big announcement. A small plane, a Piper P-25, was hired for the spectacle. The plan was simple. The pilot would fly over the party and release colored smoke to reveal the baby's gender. As the plane approached, the couple stood before a large sign reading "Oh baby." Cheers erupted as the aircraft released a plume of bright pink smoke. It's a girl. But the celebration was cut short in the most horrifying way possible, just seconds after releasing the smoke. As the guests were still cheering, the plane's left wing suddenly buckled and snapped. The aircraft immediately lost control, spiraling through the air before breaking apart. The pilot, 32-year-old Luis Angel, fought to control the crippled plane, but it was impossible. He crashed in a field nearby. Tragically, Luis died from his injuries. The partygoers, initially oblivious to the crash, continued to celebrate for a few moments before the terrible reality set in. A day meant for celebrating a new life ended with the tragic loss of another, turning a moment of happiness into a scene of utter devastation. Investigations later suggested that the intense stress placed on the aircraft during the maneuver likely caused a catastrophic structural failure. This is just the halfway point. There are still four gripping stories ahead, and they'll blow your mind. July 2023, on the Ambassador Bridge connecting Detroit and Windsor, a routine workday for Spencer Baker turned into a nightmare. While working on the bridge, he suddenly lost his footing and plunged 150 feet or 46 meters, crashing into the Detroit River below. The terrifying moment was captured on surveillance cameras. Witnesses on the ground, seeing the splash, didn't hesitate. They scrambled to the riverbank, shouting for help. A group of fishermen nearby heard the commotion and immediately sprang into action. They steered their boat towards the spot where Spencer had fallen. Within minutes, which must have felt like an eternity for Spencer, they reached him and carefully pulled him from the cold water. He was alive, but barely. The fall had left him with multiple broken bones and serious internal injuries. Doctors later confirmed that the quick thinking and rapid response of those fishermen were the only reasons he survived. It's a chilling reminder of how a normal day can change in an instant, but also a powerful story of how strangers can become heroes. Speaking of unexpected dangers, let's go back to October 2016 in Palm Springs, California. A tour bus filled with passengers returning from a casino was cruising down the highway in the early morning darkness. Suddenly, it slammed into the back of a semi-truck at a staggering speed of 127 kilometers per hour. The impact was catastrophic. The front of the bus was completely obliterated, crushed inwards by 4.5 meters. The scene was one of absolute devastation. First, responders worked tirelessly to free the trapped and injured. In the end, 31 people were hurt, many critically, and tragically, 13 people lost their lives. The investigation revealed a heartbreaking chain of events. The truck driver had fallen asleep at the wheel, parked on the shoulder but not far enough off the road. The bus driver, who had been driving for long hours, was likely exhausted and didn't see the stationary truck until it was too late. Too simple, human errors, fatigue, and a moment of inattention led to an unimaginable loss of life. Nature, too, can unleash its power without warning. In March 2015, in the state of Pará, Brazil, a tourist bus was navigating a road during a heavy downpour. What the driver didn't know was that the relentless rain had weakened the ground beneath them. Suddenly, a flash flood erupted. The road crumbled away, and a massive chasm opened up. The entire bus was swallowed by the raging torrent of water and mud. It was tossed around like a toy, the force of the water completely overwhelming the massive vehicle. A few lucky passengers managed to smash windows and scramble out just seconds before the bus was fully submerged and swept away. They watched in horror from the newly formed riverbank as the vehicle, and everyone still inside, disappeared beneath the murky waves. It's a terrifying illustration of how quickly our modern infrastructure can be defeated by the raw, unstoppable force of nature. Perhaps one of the most frightening scenarios is when the danger comes from right beneath our feet. Let's travel to Seffner, Florida. In March 2013, Jeff Bush had just said goodnight to his family and gone to bed. His brother, Jeremy, was in another part of the house when he heard a tremendous crash. followed by Jeff's scream. He ran towards Jeff's bedroom, but when he threw open the door, the room was gone. The bed, the furniture, and Jeff himself had vanished into a gaping black hole in the floor. A massive sinkhole had opened directly beneath the bedroom, swallowing everything in an instant. Jeremy jumped into the hole, desperately digging through the dirt and debris, screaming his brother's name, but it was no use. Rescuers arrived and had to pull a devastated Jeremy out of the unstable crater. Despite days of searching with sophisticated equipment, they could never locate Jeff's body. The ground was just too volatile, the house was condemned and demolished, and the sinkhole was filled in. But the story doesn't end there. Almost 10 years later, in 2022, the sinkhole reopened in the very same spot, a sinister reminder of the tragedy and the deadly secrets hidden just beneath Florida's serene landscape. Hit that like button and subscribe, it helps me create more stories like this. And drop a comment, which moment hit you the hardest, or what you'd love to see next.